Okay, you guys, so we are about to start this. I'm a little bit nervous because this is a lot of palettes. Like I said in a couple videos, I had my makeup collection spread out everywhere, so I've never actually had it all in one place. So this is very shocking. We're going to be making a pile that I'm going to keep, and then also a pile for like friends, family, and donations. Just a lot of the things that are like a little bit older I purchased myself, and then of course PR. So I always appreciate, again, all the brands that send me PR. I'm very thankful. And just because I may be getting rid of some palettes right now doesn't mean that they're bad by any means. It may just be like they're a little bit older, or, you know, I may not get as much use out of them. And I'm trying to be super mindful of not being wasteful in the future. This has been like a really eye-opening experience. So unboxings and things like that, I'm going to be going ahead and boxing up and shipping things out to you guys for giveaways that I'm not going to keep. So we're going to go ahead and start this. The only brands that are not in this particular video is my Natasha Denona and then also Huda Beauty. A lot of those palettes that I have are very newer, so we didn't put those in there. Also, I am going to be doing a voiceover. I got y'all's feedback from the last videos, but this is going to be split up into 3 different sections. So this is the first declutter, and there'll be a 2 and a 3. So
this way is keep, and this way is toss, friends, family, that whole jazz.
Donation, and then at the end we'll do like a overview. Okay, well, let's get started. Okay, first palette is the ice cream palette, and I just don't really use a lot of pastels. Then we have the Venus palette, a beautiful palette. Love the formula, but I just don't grab for it enough. And then honestly, just a spoiler alert, I did get rid of pretty much all Morphe palettes. I've just had them and I don't feel myself grabbing for them. Then another Morphe palette. This one I didn't actually like the colors whatsoever. And we have a Too Faced Peach palette. The Sweet Peach, I do love this and I love the smell of it. So it's definitely a palette that I decided to have on my keep list. Then we have ColourPop You Had Me at Hello, one of my favorite ColourPop palettes. It gets a ton of use. Then we have the Too Faced Glitter palette. Now, I was kind of back and forth about this. It's such a cute palette, but at the end of the day, like the shades, I just don't really see myself reaching for. I even, as you can see, like tried to swatch it to like talk myself into keeping it, but I had to sadly let it go. Let it go. All right, next we have the Too Faced. I cannot remember the name of this, but I wanted to keep it. I like these kind of shadows more than like glitter chunky shadows, and they perform really well as well. The Chocolate Gold palette. Then we have the Urban Decay palette. Very small palette that I never grabbed for, so I tossed it. Well, not tossed it, but you know what I mean. Zoe of Beauty, a beautiful palette, but again, it's just not something I reach for, and I really felt like I needed to declutter a lot. The Honey palette I just received from ColourPop, so I definitely kept that. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm excited to test it out and review it for you guys, and I love their shadows. Motives palette. Honestly, with this palette, it was hard to get open first off, but I just didn't really love the colors. It was a little bit more cool tone for me, so I let it go. A Tarte palette that I have seldom reached for, so that was a declutter. And then the Zoeva palette. Actually, I don't think I had used this, and I mean, it's been there for a while, so I did not decide to keep it. Next, we have a Pat McGrath palette. Now, I ended up deciding to declutter this palette. I just didn't get a lot of use out of it, and it's a very expensive palette, so I decided to not keep it. We have the Colored Rain palette. I love this palette. It's so good and so creamy. A Too Faced palette that I never liked. Riviera by Anastasia. I did not really love this palette. I felt like the pink was kind of hard to work with. Then we have the Naked Reloaded. I mean, you know, it's a naked palette. I wanted to keep it because I felt like it's a good naked palette to have in my collection. I got rid of the NYX one, colors that I don't really try to reach for. But I really love this green palette by ColourPop, so I decided to keep it. Then we have another Morphe palette. I mean, you can see that I got some use out of it, but I decluttered it. Then the Blue Blood. You know, I did get this for a review, love the shades, but I just didn't see myself reaching for blue as much, so I decided to declutter it. We have the Too Faced Best Year Ever. It was the 2018 holiday collection. Really pretty shades, and I'm pretty sure I like the formula, but I just decided to let it go. We have the NARS Orgasm. This is a cream palette, and I definitely decided to keep this. I love the Orgasm collection, so it had to stay with me. Then another NARS palette. Now, this one has two different ones. This one's a little bit more cool toned, and I just decided I haven't grabbed for it really, and I just needed to let it go. I'm really proud on some of these palettes. Now, the Lorac, I don't really love their formula, so I had the Pro palette, I think 1 and 2 or 2 and 3. And 2 and 3. So I ended up actually letting both of these go. Some people love the formula. I just wasn't like a super huge fan. Then we have a Kokie Cosmetic palette. It's very similar to the Anastasia Renaissance, so I decluttered it. The Clover palette from Too Faced. I haven't really gotten a ton of use out of this, so I wanted to keep it and keep trying it out. Really pretty colors. And then, oh, so sad. I hate when palettes break. You guys, this is one of my favorite ColourPop palettes. You can see all the use I got out of it. The She palette, and then another Morphe palette that got decluttered. Next, we have the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons. Not a palette that I'm a huge fan of, so I decided to let it go. Then we have the Natural Face palette by Too Faced. I do actually really enjoy this palette. Formula is great, so I kept it. Then we have the Cocoa Contour. I actually recently got this, but I just decided to let it go. I just don't really reach for contour palettes all that much. And then the Marc Jacobs, really pretty shadows, but again, I just don't feel like they're like my top favorite formula, so I decluttered it. Then we have the Naked Urban Decay Heat palette. I do really enjoy this palette, and I like the colors, like super nice and warm toned. Then the Makeup Forever. Oh my gosh, I love Makeup Forever shadows, but I don't grab for this as often, so I let it go. Another Morphe palette. I think a lot of Morphes were at the front. This is a 350, probably one of my all-time favorite Morphe palettes. And then, the Too Faced. I don't know why, but it shows that I let this go. I did not. I love that palette. This one right here, I've had for so long. I'm pretty sure we threw that away. Next, we have the Jouer Skinny Dip palette. So this palette was one of their summer collections. It has 6 really nice, like, full shimmer shades. I even tried to swatch one, but at the end of the day, it's not a palette that I'm, like, blown away by, so I decluttered it. The Maybelline I decluttered, as well as the Ofra Cosmetics. Sippin' Pretty by Kylie Cosmetics. I actually really like this palette. I think it's really good to travel with too. And then another Marc Jacobs that went away. Some NYX Ultimate. I think I got rid of most of these. I didn't love that formula. Pixie, that is a lip formula, cream formula. And then the ColourPop, I love this palette. Kept it. We have another Charlotte Tilbury, which I love the formula of. Then the Naked Smoky, so old, it had to be decluttered. Then a face palette, I didn't think these shades showed up at all, so it's going. Then we have the Thirsty. I love this palette. Really pretty colors, great formula. I kept that one. The Just Peachy Mattes is definitely a keeper. I love all the matte shades. And then we have the Naked Urban Decay. I actually got rid of this, which is sad because I don't even think they make it anymore these days. And then next we have the Venus XL palette. I did get rid of these. I just, I haven't had it like super long, but for me, it's like a palette I just don't reach for often. Then we have one I got in a BoxyCharm. I ended up getting rid of that, as well as the Tartelette. Sorry guys, I'm yawning, but I'm not a huge fan of the Tartelette palettes. Then we have Jouer. This one was like brand new, and I believe I ended up decluttering it or putting it in a giveaway pile because I actually haven't used it and I wanted somebody else to get use out of it since it's never been opened. Then we have the ColourPop See Through My Eyes. I kept this one. I need to use it some more. Too Faced, a pretty mess palette. Absolutely love. Colors are right up my alley and really good formula. Then we have a Makeup Forever. I have like 3 volumes of this, and I decided to get rid of them just because I've had them for quite a while, and I felt like, it'd be great for them to go to a new home. Stephen Klein palette was a keeper. I love my NARS palettes. The Pure palette I got rid of because I just don't find myself using as much. And last but not least, the Cocoa Chocolate Bar palette, the semi-sweet. I kept this one, and you guys, this is part 1. I'm trying to go through this fast so you don't get bored, but part 2 is coming. I love you so much, and thanks for watching.